This is Nick with Reventure Consulting. Today we're going to take a look at New York City real estate and try to figure out what exactly is going on. There's been no shortage of opinions dispensed on the topic. Some people seem to think New York is in the state of a long-term real estate decline and the issues we've seen over the last year are going to persist into the foreseeable future, while others seem to think this is just a blip on the radar and that New York is a great market to invest in. Reventure's data says that the truth is probably somewhere in between. While New York City's real estate market has been objectively terrible over the last year, the extent of the pain really depends on where you are. Certain zip codes have experienced declines of nearing 20% in value in just the last year, while others have actually seen increases in value. Let's dig into the numbers. This list looks at the 100 largest cities in the US and looks at their home value appreciation over the last 12 months. The average has been plus 6.2%. So in the average large city, home values have gone up by 6% roughly. Some of the cities at the top of the list have even experienced home value increases at over 10%. So despite the coronavirus pandemic and the economic issues that the US is having, most of the US's housing market is doing quite well right now. So where does New York City rest on this list? The answer is at the bottom. New York ranks 100 out of 100 in home value change over the last year. Values are essentially flat in a market where they've gone up 6% on average and over 10% in certain cities. So that is not good. Objectively speaking, New York's real estate market sucks right now. But New York is a big place. Nearly 10 million people live there. There's 5 different boroughs. It's not as if every location is flat. Some are down a lot, others are actually up. This map of the 5 boroughs proves that point. Manhattan is really the anchor that is dragging down the rest of the city right now. Its values have gone down by 4% year over year. That is really bad. Meanwhile, the Bronx, just up north, have actually seen a 3.8% value increase. And the other boroughs, Queens, Brooklyn, and Staten Island, lie somewhere in between. Moreover, if we look at the areas surrounding the outside of New York City, Nassau County and Long Island, Bergen County in New Jersey, Union County in New Jersey, we can see that most of these areas have actually experienced appreciation. While they might be slightly below what the national average is, there's growth in most areas. It's really Manhattan, which is the problem. And within Manhattan, there are really 2 central locations which are dragging the ship down. One is the area south of Midtown and north of Soho, neighborhoods including Hudson Yards, Herald Square, Chelsea, and the East Village. And the other is the Upper West Side heading into Harlem, all the way up into Washington Heights. These 2 areas combine for most of the value decline in New York City. Zooming in further, we can look at this zip code, 10001, which includes Hudson Yards and Herald Square, the area around Madison Square Garden, for those unfamiliar. This neighborhood has seen a 15% decline in home values year over year, from 1.06 million to below 900,000. That's over $160,000 of home value lost just in the last year. That is astounding. Now you move down into Chelsea, which was typically known as one of the strongest and safest areas to invest in New York City. Chelsea has experienced a 10% home value decline, with average home values going from 1.04 million to 940,000. That's a $140,000 average decline. But believe it or not, there are some bright spots, particularly on the Upper East Side. This trio of zip codes, 10021, 10075, and 10028, have experienced appreciation from 5 to 9% over the last year. Meanwhile, this zip code on the Upper West Side, 10023, has experienced 5% appreciation as well. So we've learned a couple things today. I think the first is that New York City's real estate market is in tough shape. Large cities in the US have averaged a 6% home value increase over the last year, and some cities have even averaged 10% plus. Meanwhile, New York is flat. But I think the second thing we learned is that it really depends on where you are in New York City. The Bronx has actually experienced 4% appreciation, while Manhattan has lost 4% in value. The third thing we've learned is that once you go further into Manhattan, there's even more variation. Hudson Yards, Herald Square, Chelsea, the East Village, and Alphabet City have experienced over 10% value loss over the last year. Meanwhile, certain areas in the Upper East Side are doing quite well. I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the New York City real estate market. Please subscribe or leave a comment and let me know if you'd like to see other areas around the country analyzed in a similar way. Until next time, this is Nick from Reventure Consulting signing off.